All right, let's talk about the 3 different ways that you can create a Meet. Probably most common and easiest is to just do it right through your Google Calendar. So how you do that is you're going to go to your Google Calendar. You can do that through your email, through your Drive, or just simply going to the Google Apps and clicking on Calendar. So creating a calendar event is going to allow you to add the Meet to, say, a meeting or a conference. And it's going to generate that shareable link for you and your participants. You can invite anyone, so they don't have to have a Google account to do this. It's easy to join, it's easy to duplicate and share, and those outside of your domain still have to be admitted into the meeting from you, the host. So someone outside of your school district wouldn't be able to join your Google Meet until you allowed them in. So how to do that is you're just going to pick that date and time, and you'll go ahead and label it. You will go ahead, the time and dates are going to be there if you've clicked on it, but if you need to change this date and time, you can do that as well. Just because it defaults to an hour doesn't mean you only get an hour of the Meet. You can go as long as you need to. Google Meet does not have a time limit. This is more just for the calendar invite purpose, but you can get in here and change that if you need to. You can add your guests, so you're going to do that by just adding their emails, and then you'll add Google Meet video conference. Once you've created that link, you'll see the link here, so you can easily copy and paste this. I'm going to show you that in just a second. Obviously the location is with Google Meet, so you wouldn't need to necessarily maybe add a location. You can add a description or attachment, so if you have an agenda or something, a document that they need to have for this Meet, you can attach that there, and then you'll hit save. So when you hit save, it'll prompt you if you want to send the email to the participants. I always say yes, and what it does is emails them an email that says you've been invited to this meeting, and they can then from there choose to accept or decline the meeting. You'll be able to come back here at any time before the meeting and click and open it up and actually copy the link to this Google Meet if needed. So if you need to copy and paste this into a document or an email, or you're going to hyperlink it to a link that you have in a document for the Meet, you can do that as well here. So you just click copy and then paste it wherever you're going to need to do that. You can always come back and edit the event. So if you need to change the time or the title or anything, you can delete. You can email the guests that you've invited. If you need to send them a separate email to remind them of the meeting or something they might need, you can do that from here as well. Okay, and that is probably, again, the easiest way. Again, anyone can join. Do not have to have a Google account. If they are not in your domain, you're going to have to let them into the meeting. You'll get a little sound that will tell you somebody's waiting to get into the meeting. You'll have to let them in. But if they are in your domain, they will be able to join the meeting even prior to you joining the meeting because you've invited them as a participant. All right, let's look at the next way to join a Google Meet. This is probably, again, probably the easiest, but less setup essentially. And this is meant really more, I think, for if you're jumping in really quickly into a meeting, you need to meet with somebody, to discuss something real quick. Kind of wasn't planned essentially on a Google Calendar. I always tell people a Google Calendar is the easiest if you're setting up a meeting prior to that date and time. This is probably the easiest way to just jump on with somebody. If you go to your apps again, you'll see the Google Meet app. From here, you are going to join. You're going to be starting the meeting. So join or start a meeting, and you'll click on there. And it's going to ask you if you want, you're going to put in a nickname essentially. Nicknames is one way to keep anybody that you don't want to join the meeting before you. That is how you stop that. So if you have students, you're going to be meeting with students and you don't want them to be able to get into the Meet before you're going to need to put in a nickname, and it can be something super simple. And they will have to have that nickname to join the meeting. So as for them, all they need to do once they have that nickname is go to join or start a meeting, and they will type in the nickname of the meeting that you've created. If you don't want to create a nickname, you're just going to leave that blank and you would hit continue. And then from here, you would be able to start a meeting. If you need to, you're going to send this link over here to whoever is going to join in with you. Okay, and so on. Back to that nickname. By, again, creating this nickname, they will just type in the nickname and hit continue, and then only people with that nickname will be able to join. Okay, and the last way to join a Google Meet is actually right through your Google Classroom. So if you took the classroom, sessions, then we've kind of talked about this, but if you are familiar with Google Classroom and you didn't notice this yet, you do have a Google Meet link right here in your Google Meet or Google Classroom. This is something you have to generate when you create the class. If you have not yet, it will say generate Meet link. You'll click on that and it will generate this unique link for just this classroom. So students in this classroom, it was just a kind of an easy way for them to get to you, get to the meeting. If you're going to be meeting with a small group of students, instead of sending out a new link every time, they'll just go to Google Classroom, and you'll all go to Google Classroom and click on the Meet link, and it will open up directly into a meeting for you and those students.